Well, good morning, everybody. Hopefully, we'll get a few people on. I know it's a weird time of the day for myself and for our guest Jeremy and Max. Who it is 6 a.m. there, I believe, guys.
That's correct. Yeah,
6 a.m. is it's early, Max. Apologies for cutting in. Exactly. Apologies for cutting into your Fortnite time, though, right? Or League of Legends or.
Valorant, right?
Valorant. Awesome. Well, the first thing we obviously need to do is we need to introduce you guys to the show. You guys have been on the podcast. Did you listen to yourself, Max?
Yeah.
On the episode?
I don't really like how he sounds.
I get it. It's an acquired taste for all of us. We all takes a long time to be able to hear yourself talk. But obviously, this is Jeremy Altman and his son Max. We met at Masters. Gosh, can you believe it's been a month since we held Masters? It feels like it's been a lot longer.
Has it been a month?
It feels a lot shorter for me.
Yeah.
So Adrian, 8 p.m. where you are you in like Perth, Australia? Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember. I mean, 8 p.m. That's got to be Australia. So yeah, it's great to have you on. Glad to have you on. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's been a month. It feels like it's a lot. Like just yesterday, we were just there playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Trent couldn't join us today. So my normal partner in crime, he's got some other commitments. So hey, we press on. But we're really excited to have Jeremy and Max come in, share their experience. We're going to touch a little bit on, you've had a month to reflect. We'll touch a little bit on the Masters experience, or the Best of the Rest experience. And then the real fun part that we're going to do is we're going to, and don't forget, if, Facebook is very mean to StreamYard. So you have to authorize it every time so we can see who you are. Yeah, it's oh. Okay. So Max, you want to try to pronounce that?
Kalgoorlie.
6 hours east of Perth. So Perth is a town on the very far western side, the world's edge, as they say. So, Adrian, we're glad you're here. So, Adrian, are you going to make it to the Australian Masters this year? That's what we want to know. I know it's a far flight, but if anybody can do it, you can do it. So, we did drop a lot of Masters coverage over the last
Nice.
Yeah. It's so we did drop a lot of Masters coverage over the last month, and believe it or not, today is the last of it. Well, I won't say it's the last of it. I'll say it's the last of it unless there are some other stuff we could, in a pinch, pull out. But pretty much this is
you guys have a lot of content from that.
Yes, we did.
I haven't even caught up with all of it.
Yeah, yes, we did. Well, today we have Jackson Blakemore and a collection of people with him. And so we have a whole episode dedicated to Jackson. For those who don't know, Jackson's at this point, 16-year-old Kings War player. He came in, I believe, second at Best of the Rest. He's kicking. Wow. He's pretty good. Yeah. So if you haven't given that a listen, please do. It's a fun listen. Jackson is more articulate than I give him credit for. So
look forward.
Well, all right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Jeremy and Max. It's been a while since you guys were on the show. So how would people know you? Like on Facebook, obviously you're kind of famous, Jeremy, right?
Oh, am I?
How yeah. So how would people know you?
On Fanatics, I guess I've got some elves and I've got some Reforged orcs that we've been working on, and yeah, a lot of them are recently repainted from having them a long time ago. but I don't get a lot of games in, unfortunately. And I just been kind of stalking other people's events and games.
Because there's no one here to play with.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So you are in
Rapid
South
City,
Dakota. Rapid City, South Dakota, right? Yeah, which I always keep saying North Dakota.
Calgary.
Eventually I'll get it. Yeah. And as you mentioned on the show, there's not a whole lot of people playing there.
Yeah, there's another guy, Sean Parker, who actually worked in a game store for a while, but that game store went out of business, and he helped introduce me to the game. And from time to time, he will play, but they're really into Warhammer Quest right now, so that's where their hobby time is going.
I mean, it looks to me like you got a built-in opponent right there.
Yeah, up and coming.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Got a few more people jumping on, which is great.
Oh, I saw that guy.
So,
yeah, Lazy Pirate Painting. We've watched some of his videos.
Absolutely. He's very prolific.
Yeah.
Very prolific.
He puts a lot of stuff out.
Absolutely. Well, Jeremy, let's remind ourselves, what were your expectations? Give us a sense of your scene, and then how in the world did you decide I'm going to drive all the way across the country to go to the U.S. Masters in Omaha and, set the stage for us?
Well, I've been listening to you guys. I remember hearing some of the coverage from last year's Masters and just like trying to understand what some of the terminology is. And having played a couple of games, I thought, well, this Omaha's not too far. And I wanted to get my brother in Denver to go too, because he's starting the hobby, and I thought this would be fun. We'll both go. He'll get an army painted up. It'll be great for us to bond. He's just starting out in the hobby, but really painting at a high level already. So I thought this would be great for him. So we tried to get a couple of games of Ambush in, and we had planned to travel separately but meet there, and we were going to stop by and see my sister in Sioux Falls and then head down. It was going to be, a great vacation, and then a chance to meet you, Rob, and see what all of the discussion is about, and kind of see firsthand how the games are. And then, when people are talking about chaff and some of this terminology, kind of get a better feel for what that actually means when you play the game.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw, we did have a post that, Bill Hupp, who we are planning to have on the show pretty soon. He's from Thistle and Rose Miniature Range, but also an ever-increasing Mantic Games fan. Threw out the idea that there's a bunch of words and acronyms that he didn't have a clue what we were talking about, which is kind of like the opposite of what we want to do, right? We want to have secondhand vernacular for the things in our community, but at the same time, we don't want it to be a gatekeep, right? Like, we don't want it to make it so that it's very hard to get in and understand what, Alpha Strike or chaff means. So we had that crazy thread, and hopefully we'll get that all buttoned up at some point and maybe do a whole show on it. And Max, maybe you'll have to help us with that, because as a new player, you wouldn't have a clue what some of those words mean.
No.
But maybe you can help us make up some very interesting definitions for them.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sure.
So
that'd be a good idea.
Expectation-wise, did you have any expectations for going into the Masters, or you just really just wanted to go and check it out?
Oh, I just wanted to check it out. I thought, oh man, I'm probably gonna get hammered by some of these guys.
Well, did you get hammered?
Like the very first game was, for sure. Yeah.
That was Chris Bowen, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a good game. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't close. The other ones were all close. I think it could have gone either way, but they were all enjoyable. All really good people. Great venue. I love just being able to push the miniatures around and throw some dice and get these guys out of the cabinet and get them onto the table.
Absolutely. Anything surprised you at the event?
There's this Zelda army.
The
like,
Zelda army was totally cool. The amount of effort put into the display boards and
Yeah.
like the quality of painting, it's even higher in person, wouldn't you say, than what you see on the screen? It's really impressive.
Yeah. How about you, Max? How'd you find the event?
for my dad, kind of.
Yeah.
It was
Did you
really-
enjoy it? Did you have fun?
Uh-huh. At first, I was thinking of like doing other things while he's like at the tournament, but then the first day I was there, I just like really couldn't leave. It felt like so fun just like being there and like watching it. So
Awesome. And sorry, Matt, I saw your comment, but this is Matthew Temple. He was my last round opponent, and things didn't go well. That's the best way I can say it. And but I'm sure, Matt, I will see you at Michigan GT next month, and you will wreak your revenge on me. I have all the confidence in your goblins. So, oh man. So again, today we dropped the Jackson Blakemore episode. Make sure you give that a listen. I think you guys will enjoy it. Hey, question for you, Max. On the episode, you promised us that you would be working on some magical artifacts, right? You said you're gonna sculpt some stuff. How's that coming along?
well, my dad bought this blender like kind of course to help me like kind of get further along in blending and stuff, or like
Nice.
3D modeling.
Yeah, because you've done some sculpting in some larger pieces, but these would be more detailed pieces. So we got some online courses on how to sculpt in Blender for really detailed pieces.
Awesome. Well, guys, hobby. Have you been painting anything? I mean, are you inspired? Are you working on your army? Maybe we'll start with Max. You got a salamander army, right? That you were going to work on. How's that coming along?
So right now we've got kind of some like test miniatures, kind of trying to get like the paint style down, like what colors I want and like kind of armors and stuff. So right now we've got some like prototypes done of like how I want my army to look, but it's not like completely there yet. They're kind of just like prototypes of like colors and schemes I want to do with my army.
That's the hardest part. Figuring out what color to paint something is the hardest part. Once you've got it and you know how you're going to paint it, you know, you just get on with that. But man, like I don't know about you, but second guessing myself, I'm like, well, I don't know. Oh, this is green. Oh, I should change it to blue. And you're just, you know, I'm in my own head.
Yeah.
Skinks, like almost every color works for almost everything. So
in Kings of War, it's a Gekatoa, I think.
You're right. He doesn't know. He's learning the vernacular. You know, Warhammer was, the lizardmen in Salamanders had skinks and Saurus, I think they were called. But yeah. Well, cool. When are you going to post some pictures? When are we going to see them?
Well, I just finished up the regiment for the slow grow that I was working on, so I'll post some of his.
Absolutely. You're still working on elves? No, Riftforged Orcs. Duh. You play elves, but you're RFO. Sounds like a band from the 70s.
RFO and the Swinging Hammers.
Absolutely. I've been. I took a 6-week break. I don't know. Have you guys ever done that where you paint real hard and heavy, and then you like take a break, and then it's like it's hard to get back to the table. Those breaks are difficult because I lose my brush control. I forget what I was doing. But I did paint a new model this week. I did post. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but it's our tackle from the Salamander. It's probably not going to come in. Pictures are on the Facebook on the August hobby challenge, and then I think I may have already showed this. I finished up a king on a chariot for my goblins. It's weird, going into Masters, I was all hot and heavy for goblins. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I went and played Salamanders and had a great time. And now I'm like all about the Salamanders again. And now I'm kind of like shelving the goblins, which is interesting.
I got to tweak my Salamander army a little bit or something like that.
100%. Well, let's talk about that because I have been playing them recently against one of the local guys who's been playing with. Have you guys played against, or what do you think of the new Northern Alliance list?
I'm excited to get some of those dwarf flying units. I think they're cool.
Frost Claws.
Yeah.
it's interesting because I've been playing against them. Let me see if I can add this to the screen. So I've been playing against the guy who's been rocking these pack hunters with the bows, 24-inch range, hitting on fours. But man, these guys might be the new mayors of Value Town because 135 points. They've got stealthy, Pathfinder, Thunderous Charge, Wild Charge. The only thing they're really missing here is they don't have steady aim. So if they're moving and shooting, they're hitting on fives. But hey, when you have 5 or 6 of these in your army, turns out they can shoot the crap out of you and really shoot salamanders off the table because they outrange us.
Did you place against some of these already?
Yeah. So I played against 2 games. My last 2 games were against our local player Swatley, who likes these guys a lot. And in the game on Wednesday, he had 5 regiments of these. And with the 24-inch range, it was a real. I mean, I squeaked out a win, but it was really difficult because all my shooting is 18 inches in the salamander list, right? So he can outrange me until that first turn when if I make him move up, sure, he's hitting on 5s, or if I can get into cover 6s. But I've got to eventually move. I have to move into his range to be able to shoot him. And
then he's got stealthy on top of that.
He's got stealthy and potentially cover, right? So it was an interesting game. And so it's really going to be interesting to see, I don't know, you guys in Australia, I don't know if or around the world, I don't know if anybody else has been picking up on this, but here it feels like this is an interesting unit that has a lot of opportunity. Now, I will say they are only defense 3. And so maybe I'm not the best to argue the matchup because I'm sure there's armies that have like lots of lightning bolt that doesn't care about stealthy that could really screw those lists up. But man, it was a nice shooting battery. It was a very nice shooting battery. So
looks like it would be.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting because what's really interesting about it is if we look at Icekind Hunters, right? They're 190 points.
Slightly more than Blade Stalkers.
Yeah, it's 65 points more, but you basically have, other than the fact that from a shooting perspective, they have elites, right? And they have this ice-tipped arrows, and I know that they're actually faster, right? They're speed 6 and they're melee 3+. But if they're archers, you probably aren't looking to get them into combat, right? You're probably looking to shoot,
right?
So it's going to be interesting to see if people end up switching out these Icekind Hunters for more of the pack hunters. At best of the rest, we weren't using the new rules, but I did play against somebody that had the pack hunters with the javelins, and those are also very effective with the 12-inch range and the steady aim and the piercing 1. Yeah, I just not sure. 145 points for that versus 135 for this. I don't know. I kind of like this. Interesting times that we're in.
Points, but I think you're probably, if you look at the math, you're probably getting fairly similar outputs from both.
Yeah, exactly right. If shooting's your main goal here, then yeah, I would think that, especially if you have an opportunity. Well, maybe it's a mix and match kind of thing because obviously, these guys have steady aim, which is big, right? Like they can move and shoot. Whereas these guys have to get into a spot and just sit there if you want to be effective. Yeah. But that being said, I don't know if steady aim is worth 65 points, right? That's
I'm always a fan of having a little bit of both because you want maybe the Icekind Hunters want to scout ahead and do some stuff, but then these pack hunters, like you said, could sit back pretty nice, and shooting them is going to be harder.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting because I think you said something that's interesting there is that, the Salamanders list, all the shooting is, for the most part, I think it's all steady aim. Maybe not the Commandant, but everybody else is steady aim. But the range was the depressing thing. So, Matt's on listening to this, and Matt's like, boo-hoo, cry me a river. So Matt has a Goblin army where his effective range is 17 inches, and all mine's 18. So I move up.
Just one more inch.
That's right. Let's see who this is. This is Robert Zimmerman is on. Jeremy, did you get a chance to meet him?
Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Hope you're ready for school to start.
That's awesome. Let me pull this down a little bit. All right. So yeah, it's super interesting in that, like, in Matt's goblin list, it's all 17 inches. So I move up to just outside of 17, shoot them, back up, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. And I can just sort of keep outside of 17 because a lot of my stuff, like the Scorch Wings, they fly 10. So I can back up 5, right? And his stuff moves 5. So like he's got to take a turn where he just bites it and just doesn't shoot and just moves up at the max. Flip side, though, in this matchup with the Northern Alliance, I'm the one on the back foot because my range is 18 and their range is 24. So it's it was interesting times, to say the least. Are you guys getting excited about the Clash of Kings book coming out?
Yeah, October, right?
Exactly, and the new Twilight Kin army coming out. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, since Masters, how many games have you gotten in? 0. Oh no, Max, come on! You gotta step up, get those salamanders painted, so you guys can start playing.
Okay.
Do you guys do either of you have you tried Universal Battle at all, Jeremy?
No,
the online tool.
I might. I like the.
I don't use Universal Battle. I am a person that likes to get in on the table. Play my games on the table.
I do have like enough other miniatures I could do like a play by mail or something. And
yeah, that's a possibility as well.
Like that, but I haven't gotten into it.
And I know people use Universal Battle in that way too, where they'll have the game set up,
really?
And then you don't have to play it live, right? So you can go back into the game and you do your turn. You let Max know that you're done, and you can log off, and then he can go in and do his turn and back and forth. I think.
Well, that's an idea.
Lots of options there. Well, gaming wise, I've been playing quite a bit. We're getting ready for, obviously we talked about Matt Temple will be up there with a lot of people at best of the best Michigan GT. It's early for me too. Not quite as early as you guys. It's only 7 going on 7:30 here. But we have Michigan GT coming up for the first weekend in October. Should be a lot of fun. So ready for that. And then podcast wise, like I said, we've kind of, I think we're done. Air quotes. I'm always air quoting, right? But done with the U.S. Masters coverage. We did last Sunday. We did our Sunday coverage, and then today we got Jackson. But 2 other episodes that I want to make sure people are paying attention for is that we had some Australian content coming out. So last Wednesday we had an episode about the new Australian or the revamped Australian Masters. Thought that was a lot of fun to listen to those guys chat about it, and it was nice to see some new faces, or hear some new voices on the cast. And then this Wednesday, Matt is the Matt Crozier. Matt Crozier is doing a sequel to Rewriting Panathor. So him and David Fanning are taking and going through the armies and just talking about what they would do if they had the control. It's probably a good thing they don't have control.
I think I remember Matt talking about that one time about what armies he might cut at one point.
Exactly. This is more about if they're going to be in there, what do you do to fix them? What do you do to change them? How to give them more identity? And then other content that we're still going, we got to get back to the community building series. I mentioned Bill Hupp from Thistle and Rose. We need to get him back, or we need to get him on. We need more list builders. The one thing that's probably on pause right now is, we haven't done an army review in a couple of months, and that's mostly because Clash of Kings is getting ready to come out, and it's really hard to invest the time in something that's going to be outdated within another few months. But I'm excited about that. Well, with that, I think it's time to get to the good stuff. We want to talk about
the good stuff,
the amazing hobby updates from July. So let me add this to the stream. And so what's going on here? There we go. It just took a minute to load. And so we're going to do this in countercharge fashion. We're going to walk through all the pictures. Max, you're going to do a running commentary for us. Which ones you like, which ones you don't like, how they could improve their painting. Maybe that would be good.
Okay.
Oh, we should have gotten judges' numbers or something so you could hold up.
Exactly, like almost like you're the judge at like a diving competition.
Oh yeah,
that was definitely a
next 10. Next time.
I'll rate it out of 10 though, just verbally.
That's right. So we've got Donnie Croce, who was at the U.S. Masters. It looks like he's putting together some Scorch Wings. What are your thoughts on Scorch Wings, Jeremy? Have you had a chance to play them?
I haven't played I haven't played against them. It seems like if you're facing, up to like 3, I think I could probably handle it. But more than that, seems like it could be difficult. Now those look like those are from the Armada set or something, like
No,
smaller.
those are the actual. Yeah, they are actually small. They're only like maybe a couple inches wide.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Those are the a real thing. But the Armada one is exactly like that, but scaled down, and you could blow it up. Yeah. So
No, I haven't fought against them. They seem like
I think one of the
too many.
complaints about the models is that they're a little small, considering they're supposed to be large cavalry.
Oh,
So I think I'd be able, I haven't done it, but I've seen some people that put like more models on than you need, like put 5 or 6 of those on a base, as a
gotcha.
regiment, just to kind of fill it out a little bit, because they are on a little bit on the small side. But they're great models. They're little stone, they're almost like elementals, flying elementals, right?
Yeah. Baby phoenixes is what they kind of
Exactly. And then we got another elf lover, Scott. Let's see, taking a minute here. Wow.
Good on
Okay.
it, Scott. All right.
Yeah, look at that. That's full model count, I think, right? Yeah, looks like
That's
full
the way
model
to do
count.
it.
Yeah, if you're gonna go big, right? What's interesting, Scott, I never asked you this, but it looks like, does that look like to you guys that he's individually based them and then glued them all
Yeah.
together on something? It almost looks like there's a seam there between the
It
bases.
does.
So wonder what the thought process was there. So Max, what do you think of this? Is this better than your dad's army? Worse than your dad's army? What are you thinking?
So, I feel like he should add more shadowing to the armor.
It's like a wash or something?
Yeah, a wash. Yeah. It's like what my dad does. And that's like all I know.
But I'm really liking the contrast of the bows and the armor and the shields. The 3 main elements really pop.
Exactly. And I like the red as a spot color. I think to your point, it might be a very almost a gloss look. The picture might have hit, the flash might have hit it. But you're right, adding a little sepia wash in there would really kind of make that armor pop. But like I said, though, he may already have that in there, and I just can't tell because it's so glossy. I mean, it's reflective, right? But yeah, Scott's a nutter. I think this is not his only army, if I recall. I think he's got multiple armies going all at once, which I personally can't do. I got to focus on one thing. Let's see. We got some, looks like we got some terrain for Armada. He's making some terrain, so that's cool. Have you tried Armada yet, Jeremy?
No, not yet. I saw some of the stuff for sale by Pirate Pete, I think, at the Master. It looked pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I'm assuming did he say what he's using these for? He said, okay, yeah, murder bird, scavengers for them using murder birds. It's a pretty common thing now. One of the things I like what he did here is he took, so they're actually supposed to be standing on like ammo boxes because they're from the sci-fi game, but he took those off and he did a great job. And I like the pin.
Some creature's spine at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Top tip though, rather than a brass pin or a metal pin, use a piece of acrylic rod. It'll look great. But then again, maybe this is just temporary while he's painting it up, and then once it's all done, he can swap that out for the acrylic rod. But the spine is really cool. Yeah, the spine is very cool. I'd be curious where he got that from. It doesn't really look like a 3D print, but I don't know. Maybe it is. Interesting.
Well, yeah, the color doesn't look like a typical resin, but maybe it is.
Right. It looks like maybe a store-bought resin model, but
maybe,
or maybe some kind of bit online. All right, we got our favorite.
It's actual bone.
Exactly. That. How amazing would that be? So we got somebody. Mark's knocking out some armies in 10 millimeters. So good on him. Have you guys ever tried? Have you ever tried 10 millimeter Kings of War yet?
No. I think it'd be a great idea, especially for traveling. It seems like they would travel really easy, but you could use the same base sizes and just fill a base with a lot more 10 millimeter.
There's a lot of different ways you could do it. So what you just said, somebody actually did that. The bases were he played regular Kings of War with 10 millimeter models, and what he was basically doing is he just took 100 by 80 and he just put 10 millimeter models on it. That's all he did. So he just same footprint. And what was interesting is that the scale of the army looked much bigger, right? Because now you're looking at a regiment. It's ginormous. There's 60 guys on there.
Right.
The other way you can do it is you can actually scale it down the basing.
Sure.
So you can make a portable version of Kings of War, right? That can be played on a 4x, maybe a 2x2, kind of like DBA or DBM for those that are of the historical bent know what I'm talking about. But there's a small table, and you could play a full game of Kings of War on a small area with smaller models. I
think
what we typically, what we've done is we've chosen to actually base them like War Master, which is an old game from Games Workshop that was on, like 12 millimeter models. They're on smaller bases, and we play straight normal Kings of War, but the bases are smaller. And so what happens is you get like 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 points on the table, and we have a rule: no magical artifacts. And you just smash 2 giant armies in there. And because you're kind of the number one, the bases are so small, pivoting and stuff is not, there's not a lot of funny shenanigans going on with the movement. Because it's like you're just screaming across the table and smashing each other and throwing 100 dice.
That seems like that'd be a hoot.
So he brought up a good point. Played his friend's 10 millimeter EOD with his normal elves. And it sounds weird, but once you do it, it's like it's not any different than anybody else, making a My Little Pony army, right? I mean, it's just however it gets you to the table is what we want. Looks like Mark did some more. Oh, so he's getting ready for his. So Mark is one of these procrastinators. I don't know if he's actually maybe he's painted a couple RFO. Certainly not as many as you, Jeremy. At this point, Jeremy, how big's your army?
I haven't added it up, but it's getting close to the 2,300 that I was aiming for. I've got one more horde after that, so probably almost 2,000, maybe.
Wow! Are you going to win the largest army award? What are you thinking? Are you gonna be in there for that?
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe
as the colder months come, maybe I'll get more painting time in and finish really strong.
Absolutely. So Nick Brooks is sharing some of the Armada terrain that was in the vault one of these past months. So it looks great. These modular islands are really cool, and then the sandbars and the really, really neat stuff. He did a great job too. I'd be curious, Nick, if this is FDM or if this is resin. Be curious because this kind of looks like FDM, but because you can see the lines a little bit more pronounced on this than I think if it was resin. But maybe he'll have to chime in and let us know what he used. And then this is some more scratch built islands. God help you if you're actually going to try to play Armada on a table like this.
Is it?
I think
hard to maneuver the ships through something like that.
Absolutely, it'd be impossible, really, because you have if you only had one ship, you might be able to do it. But if you have multiple ships and you don't want to bang into each other, right? And if you play in some of the scenarios, have advanced rules where the wind moves your ship like in a direction. So might have your whole fleet together, and all of a sudden it all gets smashed together, and they all go to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, but that could be a good one for like a campaign where your fleet lands on one of those islands, and you fight out a battle of Kings of War on that island.
Almost like if we had a narrative event, right? Like and
that sounds
exactly. Fun. It would be amazing. So, look at this. All right, Max, put your critical thinking glasses. Put your thinking cap on. We have the first of Jeremy's Riftforge Orcs. So, what are your thoughts, Jeremy? Give your dad a good critique.
You want me to go get the real ones, and you can look at them? No, just kidding. Go ahead.
I like the armor. I like the highlights kind of. The shields I feel like are too kind of one-toned. I wish they had kind of more colors to them.
Ouch.
Instead of
it might be that you're far enough away you can't see the orange and the yellow that are kind of picked up off the red.
Harsh but true.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be like his style or something, but I just wish they had more colors on it. But otherwise, I really like the armor.
Well, can I defend myself a little bit there?
Yeah.
The idea there is just when that color is meant to like just kind of unify the whole army when you see it on the board. That shield is, wasn't trying to put a lot of time into that part, but the purpose of that was to tie it in with the rest of the army once you see everything together.
Okay.
So it's a spot color on these models.
You're not wrong.
It's a spot color on these models, but it's really designed to tie it into, that red's trying to pulling you into the rest of the army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Rob gets it.
Yeah. And so does this guy. Red shields look great, right? Boy, Max, you're so rough. People are probably going to not want to come back on if they're going to get their stuff judged by you. They're going to be like, oh, rough critic. Got some more hills. All right, here we go. Scott's back. See, again, like I said, he was painting just a minute ago. We were looking at his elves, and now there's Kudlow and Maslow. Hopefully those will come in here. Yeah. There he goes. Took a minute. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go.
Look at the eyes.
Great. Did a great job on the eyes, and I like the red skin tone on the goblin here. Really cool model, and I like how he posed him. Right, so he's got like one foot is up on a rock, and yeah, really cool, really great stuff.
It looks like it could jump at you at any moment.
For sure. He's a very fun character. If you haven't tried him yet, now he's only available, I think, in goblins and ogres, but he has
I thought
dread, but it's not called. Yeah, it's that you know what? Now that you say that, maybe I need to figure out a way to make him in salamanders. But he's he's really effective in the ogre list because he's got what is essentially is dread, but it's not dread, so it stacks with brutal. So if you got your mammoth dishing out brutal 2, it stacks with this. Now the problem is he's a wild card. He hurts you too, so your nerve goes down by 1 as well, in addition to the enemies. So it's it's a catch-22. When you bring him into combat, if you're within 6 inches of him, your army is hurt as well. The Gordon Ramsay of Kings.
I give that like a 9 out of 10. It's really nice.
Awesome. Yeah, Adrian, it's a super fun model. I've got it in my ogre army, and I've run it a few times. And what's interesting about him is he's actually tougher than people give him credit for. And so, in some scenarios, like he can actually hold some stuff up. He's got some spells. He's got regen, so he's not terrible. And the problem at the end of the day, just like everything else, Jeremy, is it costs money, right? It costs points in that list, and so if you're taking him, you're not taking something else. But he's not an individual, so he is unit strength 1, which is all right.
It's nice to have some of those running around. And model-wise, I like how the tail is coming back into the base instead of shooting further off.
Makes it a lot easier to rank them up when you're. Yeah, it's a pet peeve. The one that I'm dealing with now is the slasher, both for the goblins and for the salamanders. They've got this big slasher model, and like to get him to not overhang the base a ton, I'm having to do some crazy repositioning. But yeah, it's a breath of fresh air when the model actually fits within the footprint of the base.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Oh, we're gonna get some. So Adrian, obviously, just speak of the devil. Here's Adrian, who was just a comment there. We're getting to his. All right, Adrian. Max, what do you think of Adrian's model? He's listening, so no pressure.
I don't know if it's finished, but so far it looks really nice.
Wow.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
The like shiny one's really cool, and there's like a little bit of color there, while still like keeping it kind of neutral.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
Adrian, I'm assuming this is slap chop, where you do like a zenithal dry brush and then you put contrast over top. If I'm wrong, if you're wrong, let me know. Nice. Yeah, let me know. But what I really like about it is he did a really good job of kind of this looks like worn leather. Right?
Yeah.
It really, really cool how it really does, work. It works. I'm assuming this was slap chopped, but like I said, I'm certainly not an expert at that. Let's see. He's got some other pictures. He's got the back, like the cloak. Now, I don't know if you guys seen Adrian's the regular fantasy army that he's got, which is dwarves. They all stack up on top of each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're like, I'll have to find some pictures. But yeah, they just, He
I
can
think I
literally
might have
stack the
seen that.
They stack.
It's
Does he have
for
like
like
stack.
traveling.
exactly. Yeah. Or just
That's
or it's just a weird
impressive.
flex, right? He's just like, look at my army, it stacks up.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Cool
Tower
stuff.
of Dwarves.
I love it. And
I
so
love the
actually
helmet.
I'm looking at this though, I'm thinking like this is his dwarf lord, but it's I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian, this is basically it's a kit bash, right? That's a Forge Father helmet, I believe. So, and then that's mostly the Mantic stuff. So, super cool. It's super cool stuff.
Awesome.
very, very nice.
So, 7,500. How many points of dwarves do you need? Well, obviously almost 8,000.
They come in stacks of 7,500. So
That's right. They're like poker chips.
that's almost as tall as a real dwarf, I think.
Exactly. And it might even be, yeah, exactly. All right. Well, now we're going to get into Richard Luke, who's been painting some goblins. He's starting with a maw pup launcher here. Zoom out.
With a basket.
I love it.
Mop-ups.
I love the basing he's done here, where it. I don't know if this is still wet, but it looks wet.
Yeah, it looks swampy and muddy.
Super cool. Yeah, it's a great model too. I mean, it's a really fun model where you've got this wackadoo carrying a basket on his back with a bunch of mop ups, and the funny part is they're so excited to get launched.
They want to get launched, and
you can see the enthusiasm in this model's face. Yeah, Adrian, awesome stuff on your dwarves. It's super cool. That's the great thing about Mantic is anytime you could take like multiple kits from the same range and bash them together to give yourself a new look, because nobody else has an army like that, right? Yeah. Somebody else recently, I don't know if you guys saw it, has been taking the extra heads from the Frostclaw kit and then putting them on the dwarves, and maybe he's making berserkers with them. But again, just another cool thing, just a simple head swap. It really makes the model look a lot different. What a cool model. What a cool model. And then I'm a big fan of his Luggets. I am a Lugget, fan. And these are just some super cool models. I love the noses, the reds and the purples. I don't know if you guys ever seen Chris Walsh, who is a prolific painter that posts a lot of stuff on Fanatics. He's the one that has the crazy salamander army, or is it ogres? Salamanders. It's salamanders because it's got like just the way I describe his stuff, it looks like it's straight out of Dark Crystal. And Jeremy might get the reference, but like old puppet look. And again, he's a proponent of heavy washes and stuff.
These turned out really nice.
These are very, very cool. Very cool. And I like the fact he's also got a mop up back here just to, fill it out. And, what's nice about this is a regiment. I mean, a troop, excuse me. But he's got all 5 poses here, right? So that's pretty cool because they have 5 different poses for the Luggets. So super, super great looking army.
Really dynamic poses too.
They remind me of like old school GW Slayers, right? Like the way they're jumping and pushing and swinging.
Yeah,
and they have a lot of motion in the models themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and Richard's done a bang up job. And I like the fact that, well, the color scheme is great, but I also like the weathering he's done, where he's went in there and really added a lot of rust. And these guys look like they've been through a very difficult campaign.
They've been through some stuff.
Absolutely, Robert. The nose is the first thing I see when I look at these. I'm like, oh, that's just chef's kiss, right? Chef's kiss. Right. All right. Well, we're barely scratching the surface, but we've got another one. We've got some Gore Riders. And again, basing is fantastic. I mean, they're Gore Riders. Oh, wait, he hit us 1,000 points too. Oh,
nice.
Picture's a little small. We'll zoom in a little bit, but yeah. Oh, sorry. It's cool. It's really neat to see people's armies grow and grow and grow and grow. Yeah,
I should do that.
You should. You should, because I think July we were looking to have, was it 1,000 points? I can't remember. We were trying to have so much done Brian's in the chat. Trahan, what we were trying to accomplish by the end of July? There was a number we had in mind, and we're getting bonus points. And I'm pretty sure, Jeremy, you're well above that. Yep, there we go. 1,000 by July.
1,000 by July. Oh, hey Brian, thanks for the game.
Did you get to play Brian too?
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Great guy. I love his accent. Real thick Cajun, right?
But did he have an accent?
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
I'm too slow. I didn't pick up the joke, Jeremy. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's keep rolling. We're into. Let me zoom out a little bit. Reset that. All right. So here we go. We got some Armada stuff, and Rune is like a fantastic painter. I mean, really, really sharp. So these are some dwarf boats. And I love the water effect he's done. Oh, I mean, really fantastic. At some point, we do need to get. Yeah, Brian's just reminding us. Yes, born and raised in Louisiana. So, yep. But yeah, these are just super cool, and he's got the next batch of boats on. Oh, he's got some orcs on the ready to go.
All right,
that's super cool. Now, how do you hold your models? So you can see here, he's got a pin drilled in the bottom and put it into a cork. How do you hold your models while you're painting, Jeremy?
Oh, that's pretty sophisticated. I just use my fingers.
You just hold it up and paint them.
I just hold it up.
Okay. Well, Donnie Croce does that as well. That's not an uncommon thing. Let's see here. All right. So we got Carson's jumping in. Never late. Always right on time. And so he's starting to put up some dwarf models together. And I'm interested to hear what these are. Does it say what these are? Maybe these are throwing mastiff markers. Maybe that's what that is. To show that, and maybe these are damaged, maybe?
Or like wavered or something like that.
Potential. I love that, though, when people do like custom tokens to match their army. Super, super cool. And, I'm a big fan of these models. I like them. They look like an army that's used to being hit on the head, so that's why they got the big helmets and the big shoulder pads. They're ready to take a punch from the top.
That makes sense. Those spearmen, that's awesome. Those are Mantic.
That must be a spear from another kit. I don't know what kit that's from, which is a smart move because the actual spears are the Bulwarker kit. It's a hybrid kit, and I'm not a fan of metal and plastic trying to be put together. And so he must have found these are probably historical, is my guess, but they work.
They work really well.
Yeah, that's super good. I can't wait. He's a very good painter, so I can't wait to see these things painted up. Make sure I didn't miss any other pictures. Doesn't look like he did. All right. Firefight. So the Persecutor bomber, Nick Brooks.
That's like the sci-fi version of.
Exactly. And I love the fact he's actually got, I doubt, well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think this is hand painted, but he's got some cool decals and stuff that have been added. I mean, Nick, if you hand painted it, my bad. I mean, pretty sweet though. Great looking model. Let's see. All right. So we've got a table set up again. God help you if you're trying to play Armada on this table. Now, from just a fun game, that would be an interesting challenge to play on, for sure. I think it's actually designed to be spread out, right? Much more. And he's just showcasing what it could do in a small confined space of a 4x4 table.
It's very picturesque. I want to go to
exactly. All right, we got John Paul Fuller Jackson getting his army right now. Convict should have already came and went by this point. So this is cool. So these are his Soul Reaver infantry, and he's got two different versions here. So this one is the Soul Reaver infantry, which now come in resin. Trent doesn't realize it, but they've been out for resin for a while. Awesome looking models, and he's got, I think this is a terrain crate bit. It's the rack, so it's pretty awesome. But this one really makes me excited because first of all, it's the terrain crate. The Gallo, but you notice he's mixed in some Basilean models in here and just painted them the same way, which, they're undead. They're basically walking vampires. Why couldn't Basilean dudes get bit and turn into vampires? I think that's
Exactly.
totally plausible.
They're coming to
And
get
it's
you.
a nice way to extend your hobby dollar too, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
the resin models are not cheap. They're awesome, but they're not cheap. And so by working some of these in, just add a few, and not only the extend your hobby dollar, it extends your hobby, the visual, right? Because now you've got some different units that mix it up,
Yeah.
which is
You've
cool.
got a story about where these guys came from, and it's actually more of a tragedy because they used to be good guys. It makes
Exactly
me
right.
feel-
From a narrative perspective, it's depressing, right? Exactly. Exactly. It's super cool. This guy might be one of them. There's a few guys, yourself included, that are very prolific. I mean, just painting and painting and painting to a good standard, tons of bottles. John Paul also is a very prolific painter, and so it's nice to see his army continue. So yeah, it's super cool. All right, and we talked about the aforementioned Donnie, or technically his name is Eldon, but we all call him Donnie. Get ready to be a dirty, dirty man and paint a bunch of Scorch Wings. So it's interesting. Look at this setup he's got. This must be the rack that he uses to paint the models, maybe spray paint them. And I'm assuming these things come
for
off.
spray painting. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah,
Get some
all primed
spray
up and ready to go. Every time I see his setup, it always makes me wonder, burlap, how effective that is as a tablecloth. It's
after you're done, you can hang it up on the wall as art.
So Max, we did an episode maybe a month ago, where we looked at people's hobby setups, and we all know your dad's got a cool setup. But what do you think of Donnie's hobby setup?
I don't know if I should say it.
You should. To me, it looks like something straight out like a serial killer would use.
Yeah.
Like, what's with the torn paper over here? And I'm not sure if what exactly is this over here? Is this a painting?
Maybe it's
and
a
the burlap.
5-year-old's child or something. And
counterpoint is when you're in a creative space, you don't want to be making a mess in a precious area. You want a place where you can make a mess.
Well, it just looks kind of messy.
It should be.
Better to be messy in the room than on the model, right?
I guess. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, to me, I mean, however you do it, whatever it takes to get you to paint models, I'm all for it. But yeah, for me personally, Jeremy, this is the kind of stuff that makes me cringe, because I'm like, I can't. If I go back to my table and it's like disheveled and stuff's not in the right spot, I get like anxiety, and I'm like, oh, I got to clean it up before I can even start thinking about painting.
Oh yeah. I'm a bit like that too, but I can appreciate people's spaces like that, because they're all about the model and getting it done, and the rest of the space, that's not the priority.
So Scott's back with some trolls, which are pretty cool, and
look at that basing. That looks
like real rocks. It looks like.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There was a product, ready-made basing. I think they had something like that, where you just dip
from
it in.
Is it from Luke's Affordable Paint Service?
Yeah, that's the one. That
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of Luke's stuff.
It's very cool, and I guess it speeds up the process because you don't have to paint it. It's done. Mm-hmm. I'm loving the ogres. I love the red skin tone. First of all, great, something different. And I like the face paint and the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty awesome. Let's see what we got. All right, we're back to so we got Paige Neo out of Singapore. So Paige has been painting some Basilian ships.
Nice.
Look at those sails. Pink. Yeah, pink and white. I mean, white's already a hard color, but then you're painting pink too. It's like, man, you're doubling down on difficult. Looking great. Looking really great. Let's see what else he's got. Oh, he's got the back ends. So these are Northern Alliance / Varniger ships.
Northern Alliance?
Northern Alliance ships, yeah. I've got a bunch of these to paint myself. Let's see what
looks
we got
like a
here.
Barbie playhouse.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, yeah, now you should mention it. It looks like a Barbie dream ship. There you go. Yeah, everybody's thinking the same thing.
Rob thought the same thing.
Exactly. That's cool though. But Max
tie-in.
pointed it out. Yeah. Well timed. Oh, he was a month early for the movie, but you know, he knew. I will tell you, nobody else is going to have an army or a navy looking like this. I can tell you that right now. And I like the way he's done the white. It's like white wood, almost like a whitewashed wood here, and then a very light beach color here. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh,
and you know what?
he
He brings up a
did
good
the
point.
cherry
Wait,
blossom.
these aren't these. Actually, I'm wrong. These aren't. You know, they're bringing it up here. These are Basilean ships.
Oh, instead
They're
of
not.
Northern
They're not Northern Alliance, which makes more sense to me.
Okay.
Because how did I miss the big sun on the thing? Max, have you ever seen the movie Tangled?
From Disney.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So that when I see the Basilean ships, they always kind of remind. This is a good picture. It always reminds me of the ships from the Tangled fleet. Big like sun looking symbol in the middle. Yeah. It's too early in the morning. I looking at these ships and I'm thinking it's Northern Alliance, and obviously it's not Northern Alliance. It's Basilean. It's embarrassing.
That's okay.
All right.
Bro.
Oh, Randy Davis. Did you get a chance to meet Randy at the event at Best of the Rest? He's the one with the cactus, abyssal army, like the Western style.
I saw him. I saw his army. That was really impressive.
Well, here he's back with some Marauders for Firefight, which are really cool. I like the orange and the blue and the green. I mean, that works quite a bit. You know, like almost like a split complementary between the green and the blue, and then you have a contrasting color in the orange for spot. It jumps. It's really, really cool. Hopefully, let's see. Is there any more pictures here? Nope, that's the only one he's got. What are your thoughts, Max? Do you have you guys tried Firefight yet?
No.
Maybe next.
Well, it's a good time coming up. New starter sets coming out with a new rules update. So it's a perfect time to jump in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They look pretty nice, but they don't really give off the like kind of rugged, nasty feel that I feel like ogres kind of like.
So these are they're probably hard to convey. These are actually orcs.
Sorry.
Yeah, so they're actually they're basically the same size as the ones that your dad's painting. But yeah, what's cool is that they kind of got like on some of these models you get that Russian vibe, that Russian World War II, that like commissar hat kind of thing going on.
All right, okay.
But then you look back here, then it's almost like one of those Civil War hats. So it's a real blend of styles.
It's a mixture.
I give it like a 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Oh, Randy living the dream with an 8. Let's see. All right, we're back. James Smith, he's got some Fleabag riders. Love it. So this reminds me of your army a little bit with the green skin. Well, the red shields are what make me remind me of your army, Jeremy.
Sure.
So you're not the only red shield fanatic.
Oh, that looks awesome. I don't know if that's the way the shields normally go, but I like them pointed up like that. It's very spiky.
I'm trying to think in my head, like, I think the shield's a separate bit, and I think you can put it any way you want, but I really do like the fact that it's up in the air like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Instead of, so I think on mine, it's more, it's turned, you know, so like the point is, it's almost pointing down.
Right. Like
the small
typical kite shield, you'd have it pointed down, but that makes it look like it's another weapon.
That's pretty cool. Really, really great looking paint job, James. And again, I love the basing. If you look at, I mean, maybe sand or grit is here with a few rocks, but then, you know, curiously, he's got a small little Thule skull there. You know, a little Cthulhu. It's a Cthulhu skull because it's got like, you know, octopus tentacles coming out of his face. So, you know,
I can see a message to the current master.
Maybe foreshadowing what's to come. And Scott again working on his ogres. He's got, obviously they don't make a mammoth, so Scott, if you're listening, is this the Schleck mammoth, like the big rubber mammoth that they sell for their toys? What is this from, or is this a 3D print? But it's a cool model, and I like how he's added the trombone bit on the top. I think this is a Mantic model, and I think it's the whip guy that you get with the They have a Maw Pup kit, I think, where it comes with a bunch of like metal Maw Pups, and I think that's the kit that comes with that.
Okay.
Now this bit, I don't know what that bit's from. That's crazy. I'm not sure, but super cool. Yeah, and I guess now I look at it, I guess that's not a gun, right? I was thinking that maybe that was like, yeah. So I thought at first it was like something to demonstrate that this thing, and then as I say it, I'm like, I'm an idiot because no, you don't have well, I guess no one takes it, but they used to have. I don't know if they still have it, but no one takes it. But there used to be a bolt thrower you could mount on the back of a mammoth. But interesting. Cool. I like the fact it's got two of them, and I'm a big fan. You know, I'm wondering, guys, that's not a chariot base. Is it? Is that a chariot base?
It looks like it might be Legion size. I'm not sure.
Well, he's saying 2 mammoths for my ogre army, but I just don't know. You know what? Maybe perspective is off. Maybe this is a lot. You know, that is a goblin model, so maybe this is a lot smaller than I'm thinking. Right?
Maybe.
And so yeah, that's cool though. But he's saying they're mammoths. So mammoths were on the chariot base, right? 50 by 100. But cool. Great paint job. Love it. You know, and maybe they are 3D printed. Maybe it looks like maybe there's some lines here for the layers you can see. So maybe these are 3D printed. Yeah. Super cool models. Always cool to see some things that it's always nice when people fill in, you know, what Mantic doesn't make with some cool models. And here we go, Mantic. I mean, I am a huge fan of the Cronius model. What a great model this is. Yeah. Yeah. So so Scott, thanks, Scott. Appreciate you jumping in and chiming in. Yeah, so it's not a chariot base. Good. I was gonna say I it felt like I was being I was like, wait, is that chariot base? Awesome. Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Exceptional base size in effect.
You do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. I don't know how you would get. I guess you have to make the tusks removable if you wanted to make it fit on a base, right? Yeah, super cool. So now we're up to. By the way, awesome job, Scott. I think at this point we've counted at least 3 different armies you've touched. I saw goblins, elves, and ogres. I think so. Yeah. Cronius now. So Chris, did you meet Chris Bellows at the event, the Masters event?
Yeah. Yep.
He was playing in Best of the Rest with us, I believe.
Okay.
And, pretty army. I love the 2 Croniuses. Really great looking models. Really. So Max, give us your thoughts.
Oh.
What do you think of these Cronius models?
I really like the models. They look like kind of Japanese like Gundams or like Transformers. I don't know, just like kind of in.
So, all right, you bring up Transformers. What is your favorite Decepticon?
I don't really know.
Do you have a favorite Transformer?
What's the guy? Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
that guy. That's like the only one I know.
Oh man, you're losing your Transformer cred, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, these are great models, right? And Robert brought up that he had a great game against Chris, and you know Chris is from Nebraska, so super cool guy. Got to meet him for the first time there. What I like about this is that typically with abyssals, people paint them in fire, stone and fire. That's like a lot of it's red, and the fact that there is not a single red on. And Brian's chiming in, Max, that his favorite Autobot is Grimlock, which is the Tyrannosaurus Rex model that turns into a robot. Your dad needs to take you and watch the 1986 Transformers movie. That's what you need to watch.
Oh yeah,
great movie.
You gotta then you'll become a fan of Starscream
for sure. Oh God, it's yeah. What's amazing about it is I was just watching some videos about Chris Collins, who does the voice of Starscream and Cobra Commander, and they have these videos on YouTube where they like show all of the voices that they did over the years. Now Chris died at a young age, so his career was cut short, but man, he had a lot of great characters that he voiced. And once you hear Starscream, that's it. You know. So all of his goblins are part of his ogre army, mostly red goblins, and we'll be making some regular goblins as allies. Super cool.
That's
and
awesome.
if you're going for those that are buying the ambush boxes, with the ogre kit, if you're not playing the goblins, it's kind of hard to justify. Well, not hard to justify, but it's not as good a value, right? Because you're getting 6 ogres and then a bunch of goblins. But in Scott's case, the ambush box is a great investment because the new goblin kits are great, and the new ogre kits are even better. So again, I just like the fact that this is not rock colored, like grays and reds. You know what I mean? Like every other Abyssal army I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen one that's green and purple. Wait,
it looks like it could be like a coral giant or something.
Yeah, Matthew Temple, if you're still in the chat, yours is kind of this color, right? Your flame belchers, your Freets and stuff. The lower abyssals, they're all green, I think, right? What color are your Croniuses? Because I've played against yours. You have 2, just like this nasty person. So refresh my memory, because yours is also not a standard color Forces of the Abyss army. We're back to Scott. I guess he had enough of painting ogres, so now he's back to painting elves. And you know what I like about it, Jeremy, is that the armies, each unit is very unique. I recall in the last one we had a horde, and I think they had white bows, and I think the cloaks were red. So the fact, and I even want to say that it was a more goldish color, where this is more of a bronzy color armor. So it's cool that like it's different, like almost like you could argue that like they're from different areas, different elvish. Yeah, it's cool.
Yep. Different regions sending their troops to the army,
Absolutely. Oh no, here we go. John Paul. Yep. Different color schemes for different units. I love it. That's neat. That really adds to the character of an army. All right, so now we're getting into John Paul. He's back with some undead, and he's painting up some catapults. Now,
these turned out nice.
Those are pretty much the standard catapults. But what I like about it, a couple things that pop out at me on this one, he's either free-handed or he's used some decals to really make those armament bits pop a little bit, right? But I like the effect too with the blue to show the it hurls skulls at their enemies.
It's almost like the one on the right has 2 kills already, and they're.
I like it, like they're notching their belt, like they're painting on the side of their airplane how many kills they've gotten. Amazing. Another thing that's nice about it though is it helps the opponent. I guess they're war engines, so you really can't really. I mean, I guess there's nothing in the game that would make you want to differentiate it, but at the very least, you can this could be number 1 and this could be number 2. Maybe he's got one with just 1 painted, just to show that they look a little different.
Yeah.
Cool. And then he's got over here, he's got a standard bearer, which is awesome. And this is the Mortibrus model, which is not Dungeon Saga. Yeah, it's Dungeon Saga, right? Yeah. And this is the alternate head. So I think it's the alternate head. If I'm wrong, you guys will correct me in the comments. And then over here we've got, I'm not sure which model this is. This doesn't look familiar. This guy though, he's classic. He's a classic Mantic model. Pure rustic greatness from back in the day. Let's see. I got a better shot. Okay. So this isn't Mantic. Let's see what it says. The corresponding model is slumped thrown, so we should go to multi-base. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool model. Again, makes you wonder like what. I mean, remember, this is the guy that has the Soul Reaver infantry that have the Basileans worked in. It's like, well, is this guy an old Basilean dude? Is this a converted? In death now he serves a different master kind of thing.
Right.
What are your thoughts, Max? You want to chime in here? We haven't given you a chance to talk.
They look amazing. Oh no, yeah, just the details are amazing. 11 out of 10.
Oh,
whoa, 11 out of 10. Whoa, he's turned it up to 11 all the way. See, I think we got all those pictures. All right, let's close. Keep growing on here. Ben Stoddard, our favorite Mantic author, is into the ogres, and I'm digging this army. He's got purple, pink skin. And Jeremy's a fan of the red shields, I know right now. But the fact he's got gold and red armor is just a lot of work to paint that. What What are you guys' thoughts? Jeremy, you want to chime in here?
Fantastic. I'd like to hear what Rob Zimmerman thinks. Are those like complementary colors? Because they really work well together. I never would have came up with that scheme on my own.
No.
If I remember correctly, Rob is an art teacher, I think. So maybe he would know.
Hopefully he knows.
The perfect person to chime in on it. I bet you, Ben. He's probably at some point we'll probably get back to his army. Green and red, baby. So yeah, green and red are the opposites on the wheel, right? So
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah. But the red and the gold definitely work. I just the pink, just the purple, whatever. It's just I've never. I mean, mine are like a grayish color skin. I just like.
Yeah, this is different.
It's
This
not
is
painted
cool.
not painted like the same, the same color scheme that you always see. So it's just cool when somebody does something very different. And these are his siege breakers, obviously, the big giant shields. And I love the fact that he's used the Paymaster from the Vanguard kit, right? It's a Vanguard model. So super cool.
Coming to
Super
collect.
cool. Coming to collect. Hey, we came and fought for you. Here's your bill. It's due now. And if you don't pay us, my 4 buddies here are gonna whoop you up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a nice army. It'd be a shame if something happened to it,
Exactly. Now this one, oh my gosh, Nicholas,
Whoa,
man,
what is that?
oh my gosh,
What
look at
is
this army. It just really now this is our Trident realms. Obviously, you've got your leapers here, and you got your heart piercers. I'm assuming these are heart piercers. Well, these might be naiads. Those are definitely heart piercers. But it's a mix of the different naiads off the sprue, and then in the back you got water elementals, and you got a dam buster here. By the way, this is such a great model. I mean, who doesn't want a lizard riding another lizard? A lizard. Well, actually, he might be a salamander. I'm not sure if he's cold-blooded or not, but I mean, just 2 big lizards. And I'm saying lizards. They may not both be lizards, but obviously the frog's not a lizard, but it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I like this army. Look at all the different colors in this army.
With
You
like
got
a
greens and
samurai
blues and
flag
greens
on
and
the back. That's
looks
awesome.
like something you would see in a tropical jungle, right? Really great.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a list over here. He says what he's got here. So ensnares, he's got 1 troop of heart piercers, 1 troop of river guard, water elementals. He's got a naiad centurion, which is this guy here, I believe. Or that could be the siren. I'm not sure. No, this might be the siren. This is the siren back here. She's got tentacles. That's probably
Right.
and then river guard, dam buster, sentinel. This guy over here, super cool. Just
Nice.
what a neat looking model. Collection of models, and it looks like I don't know if this is a Mantic model, but it looks like everything else is. So that's super cool. And to be fair, I'm not as familiar with the range of Trident realms, so that might very well be a Mantic model as well, and I wouldn't know it. Oh, here's a couple extra shots he's got from the top down. Super cool. Man, I love the basing too, where you got like these guys are coming out of the water onto the beach, and then maybe these guys are coming out of the forest at the edge of the beach. I could see a display board in his future.
Yeah, I think he's got the display board already in his mind somewhere.
It's already working out. Oh, he's got lots of other pictures. Wow. I mean, it's a rainbow of colors. It's cool because they're all kind of muted, right? But you got the blues and the purples and the golds and the teals, and it just works. It just works. Let's grab a couple more. Oh, Dam Buster. Now, I will tell you, these are metal models. Having put some of these together for Vanguard.
Oh, I bet that's a lot of pinning, huh?
This is exactly right. Or just don't touch it. I mean, I have our tackle, right? That I painted up, and she has a little blade coming out the back. I've already snapped it off 5 times. Like, yeah. And that's resin. But I mean, these are like metal models, metal glued to metal. It'd be, I gives me anxiety just looking at it. God, this is a base that definitely needs to have a handle. Absolutely. Super cool. Man, what a great army. Almost makes me want to paint Trident Realms. Almost.
Golf clap.
Exactly. All right, we got Sean Vilmont, who I got to play at Best of the Rest. Did you get to meet Sean? He was the one with all of the they were the Rift Forged winged beasts. What are they called? The Manticore Riders. What are they?
Hellstrikers.
Thank you, Hellstrikers. I was having a little bit of a
Or the
mental
Hex
block.
Strikers, as we say in the Midwest, right?
That's right. Rift Forged Orcs, though. But I guess this isn't Rift Forged. I guess these are Marauders. Super cool.
Oh, okay. Space Orc type dudes.
I love
Claw
it.
hand.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's super cool. Did a great job there. And I can see he's a fan of Army Painter back here. And then he's got some Vallejo. What kind of paint do you use, Jeremy?
Vallejo and some of the contrast paints.
Awesome. Are you a game color guy or a model master guy from Vallejo?
Game color. That's what my local hobby store had. And I like them. But they're still way better than the ones I started out with, which was the Delta Cream Coat, $1.
Oh,
acrylic.
Yeah. I know. I like Delta Ceram Coat, but I would only use it on terrain.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's really thick. Now, you actually, there are people that have painted to a good standard with it, but you really got to like water it down quite a bit. Like I think Mike Rossi on Unplugged mentioned he used to paint with that. It may still do, but you dump out half the bottle and then add water and then mix it up really good. Get it closer to the consistency that you need.
For sure.
Well, Adrian's got a great looking Abyssal Dwarf army, and what I like about it is even though it's the classic color scheme, normally you see these guys, these golems painted up like obsidian, like real dark black. I like the fact that it's like a lighter gray. Yeah. Super cool. Unique.
That's cool.
And he's done a great job. And their first game, and now dubbed the Abysmal Dwarves. That's what we call his army. That's funny. That's awesome. But they look great, though. He's got some Abyssal half-breeds. He's got a small troop of Decimators. And I'm assuming these are Black Souls. Or, I mean, I guess, they're probably Black Souls. But they could also be the upgraded ones. And then Gargoyles. Got to have Gargoyles in the list. But this is 1,000 points. That's a tough-looking 1,000-point list.
Nice job.
And legal for ambush because there's no hordes in there.
All right.
It's all regiments, troops. So, yeah, that's awesome. All right. Back to Scott. Told you, man. Other than you, he might be one of the most prolific painters. I mean, every fourth picture is from him. And here is a bolt thrower from his elf army. Looks great. Love it. I like the dark green. I also like the basing on this where it's got static grass and then he's got sprinkles of like lichen sort of mixed in there.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Super, super cool.
The inside of the wheels.
That's painted gold. Yeah. And then the white again. And you know what? This is a nice touch because you don't have to really paint the guys because they're not really part of anything. Like they don't count for anything. But, the fact that he's taking the extra effort to go ahead and paint him is just a nice little touch.
He's doing it right.
He's doing it right. Yep. And then we got Tommy Hummel. He's exceeded. You can see he's got a bunch of Sallies. And, yes, he does have a lot of Sallies.
Awesome.
So, we got some of the Cav, and then a bunch of infantry, and then maybe poachers in the back, maybe. The guys with the guns. Oh, a bunch of guns. Looks like there's at least 3 of them there. What's great about going this route is that this is the core of an army, and then you can sprinkle for taste, right? You can add in aeronauts, you can add in edge grenadiers, and he's got it over here. He says what he's got, but so he's got 2 Brage regiments, 2 rifle regiments, a rifle troop. So these are rifles, and then Braves. Then he's got wild gunners, wild runner, not gunners. Regiment, which are these guys here, and then a feast master, 2 feast masters, which this is a sorcerer, and this is probably a howitzer. So, their feast masters are back here, probably, be my guess. Here. That's cool.
Yeah, the chef's
and then an engineer, super cool models. Yeah,
well done,
love it, well done. And Scott again coming back because he hasn't painted enough for the month. More ogre character goodness. So he's got. As our buddy flag guy is what is what our buddy would used to call him, the flag guy.
The
And
flag
then you
guy.
got a warlock, flag guy, and then you got a couple warlocks there, a
And
couple
a
warlocks
hand-painted
there.
banner.
Absolutely, super cool. Yeah, our buddy Jesse, no longer with us, but was always a big. It's ironic that he is a big fan of this guy, and this is the model they created for Jesse. So it's funny to see them next to each other. But yeah, flag guy back in the day, best value in the game. But now that everybody has inspiring, that's not conditional like these guys do now, kind of makes him a little obsolete, right? You're like, well, I don't really need to buy him anymore because I can just buy him and I already have inspiring.
Yeah, but it's a great looking model.
Very cool, very cool. But yeah, Scott, great job again. Love the red skin.
It's just my vision of massive armies meetings. You got to have some banners in there somewhere. Even
yes,
even if you can take the points for a army standard.
So I had an idea. So you guys haven't listened to it yet, but Matt Crozier and David Fanning were on an episode that hasn't come out yet. It comes out Wednesday, but I was listening to it, and it got me thinking. Like, there isn't enough flag guys on the table, and my thought is, the bannermen in each army should automatically have very inspiring. If you did that, maybe it's enough of an, maybe not, but it's at least some incentive to bring the guy carrying the big stick in the big pole, right? Let's see. Oops, sorry. Oh, it's a little slow here. Oh, sorry. All right. So I like to have standards into my armies that carry over from building. Yeah, exactly right. I think flags make the army look dynamic. Ha! Donnie, we're on the same path. It's just what I said. 100%. I think great minds think alike. By the way, looking forward to seeing you at Michigan GT. We're due for another epic clash. And I dodged you at Adepticon, and which was good because that was dominate, and you have the Goblin gun line shooting my salamanders, and I have to move into the bullseye. So I'm sure I'm due. But yeah, they got to do something. Jeremy, you got any suggestions on what they could do to make the flag guys a little bit more useful that makes people want to bring them?
I like your idea, giving them a little bit boost to over regular inspiring. I think that would help. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd like to see more of them in there. I like that look in an army, but to each their own.
Yeah, absolutely. And Scott's back with another unit. Now these guys got black shields, right?
Yeah.
So maybe these are his Black Watch unit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, Scott, we were asking before, these bases, I'm assuming you based them individually and then glued them all together. Is that what you've done? You can let us know. Yes. Robert, that's a great idea too. Very inspiring and rally. Give them a +1. That's a great idea too. Just make them like useful enough that you have an incentive to take them, but not so powerful that you have to take them. I think that's great. A great idea. Yeah. So Mantic, if you're not listening, please help a flag guy out. My flag guys don't see the table enough. So Paul Gollins, he was one of the guys that was on the podcast with the Australians talking about their Australian Masters. And this guy, I think he's got 3,500 points painted so far of goblins. Again, this is just a great looking model.
Very nice.
So that's the basing material, metal basing from Mantic Cave. I'll have to check that out. So that's the grass and lichen and stuff, I think. So super cool. Super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Liking it.
So yeah, this model is great. And you know what's interesting is the other guy had him pointed up more at an angle. I thought that was really dynamic. This is probably how they're meant to be, right? But I like the fact, that's cool too. But I also like the fact he's got this guy mounted up on a hill, and he's not only that, he's rearing up almost like
he's howling.
Hi ho silver, you know what I mean? Getting ready to charge down.
Yep, he's jumping high.
That's awesome. Let's see what else we got. And just to kind of wrap this up, he was also saying, hey, nice and flowery for elves. Exactly. I like the look. It's super cool. Yeah, it looks really great for your elves.
One thing my dad does is he puts like decals or like paints little like things on the shields, so it's kind of like
to save time.
Well, yeah, it's kind of more of an extra detail. I think would be cool.
We got more.
Nice.
So what's cool about these are Forge. These are Forge Father models, but
All
he's
right.
pulling them in as Earth Elementals.
Oh,
which I think
that's
is
cool.
totally cool. Because I don't know about you, the last thing I want to paint is big, giant, heavy metal Earth Elementals. The models look great, but I mean, they're like a pound a model.
Yeah.
Super heavy. These are
But
great.
yeah, this is like the Earth Elementals are like a construct for the dwarves, and they look like they're almost machines in this case, you know.
And I wonder, I don't know the models that well. Good timing. Good minds think alike. And Adrian, if you're still in there, are these the actual shields they come with? I'm not as familiar with the Warpath universe models, but I love them. I think they fit the bill. I mean, the fact they kind of look like automatons, right? Like they've been constructed. They're like animated constructs, as opposed to like that are not organic, right? Super cool. And the freehand on the banners or on the shields is very cool too. The fist, awesome looking stuff. You got some more pictures here. I think this is the model that we looked at before, and then this is crazy. So this is a Malifaux model. It looks really cool. It reminds me of, you have a Switch, don't you, Max?
Oh no, a Nintendo Switch.
A Nintendo Switch.
Oh no, I don't.
This reminds me of a character from Metroid Dread. I think that's what the game's called. There's a character in that game that kind of looks like this little white helmet thing with a red dot. Looks just like that. Super cool model though.
Oh yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
And this is a Berserker Brock, is what he's using them as. So that's pretty cool. Really nice stinger. And now that we know, so now we can really talk about Donnie now that he's on, because we were talking about before, he didn't get to hear our great assessments of his serial killer vibe that's going on here. And look, a man after your own heart, Jeremy. There are no handles here. He's just picking those models up and painting them.
That's right.
And I like the fact that he used purple. So the purple, normally you're going to do a flame effect, right, on the back end, but the purple works, man. The purple and the yellow, it does, a striking contrast there. And I think we've talked about this before, but one of his tips that I found very interesting is that he buys pre-cast, pre-painted pieces of castings of rock from Woodland Scenics. You can buy like a Hobby Lobby, and then it looks like he just cuts them. He just takes a saw and cuts them up however he needs. And I think those are plaster or resin. So Donnie, if you're in the chat, you can let us know. But that's cool because you'll see some of his units that have like a big piece, and he didn't have to paint them. You just cut them, glue them down, you're done. Really
time saver.
Really cool. And let's keep rolling. He's got some more pictures here. Yeah, really. Again, the burlap is insane to me. I just wonder, does it get through the burlap, or maybe this is only the top layer?
If you're dry brushing, that kind of texture there could be a nice.
Oh, Donnie, if you're in there, okay. So Donnie's saying that they're plaster, which makes them a lot easier to cut. Right now, Donnie, when you cut them, do you have to go back and are they cast like in this tan colored plaster, or when they cut, are they white and you have to go back in and touch the edges that you cut? I'm gonna guess they're probably cast in a tan plaster, but Donnie, you can chime in here. But you're right, Jeremy. You may be onto something. The reason why you use the burlap is you could just dry brush, clean your brush off, and get it ready for actually dry brushing just on the material itself. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
It's very chaotic.
Maybe.
We're back with Scott Blanchett. Got Croc Dogs Wranglers.
Croc Dogs.
So he's got Croc Dogs, and then he put a goblin in the back. Really cool model. I am a big fan of the Croc Dogs. I'm actually not using them in my ogre army. I'm using it in my salamanders as ember sprites.
You're doing salamanders.
Well, I'm doing salamanders with them, but you could. Well, I mean, they're like little lizard dogs, right? Like you could, lots of uses for them.
Gotcha.
They're great looking models. Great looking models. All right, well, now we're over to Scott Sally. So you're when I think of people, Jeremy, you're the RFO guy. Well, Scott Sally, which I believe Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt Temple, he is in the Indianapolis area, I believe, but he is the halfling guy. And he's just got so many aeronauts. Oh, and he's attempted to make it look like they're flying over a cricket pitch. Oh, that's neat. Look, you can see there, you can see the lines.
Oh,
that's
it's
super
like
cool.
False perspective and
exactly like it's way up in the air.
Nice.
Super cool. That's super cool. And then flying over the countryside. Love it.
Whoa.
That's super cool. Now, how cool would that be if you did it? Yep, he's in Sky Zone, Indy South. How awesome would that be if there was like little people down there? You know what I mean? Like little 3D printed models on there, like waving up, hey, really to sell.
The rest of his army in like 6mm down.
That would be amazing. Amazing. Super great army though. And like, I don't know any, oh my gosh, a third unit. All right.
Oh, wow.
Third unit. Awesome looking stuff. Awesome looking stuff. I like the fact that if you look at this top down picture, they're all different colors.
Oh yeah.
It's neat, right? It's almost like an old Bretonian army.
Festivals.
Yeah, they're almost like an old Bretonian army that almost like heraldry. Like they all have their own unique blimp.
Each house has their own colors.
So Scott did have the idea, he just didn't find any yet.
Sure.
Keep looking. I'm telling you, there's a way. And Eldon, Donnie did chime in. It's white. I have to paint the cut edges, then do some dry brushing to add a layer of paint. Okay. Ready Rock is the product from Woodland Scenics. Painting cover is used to clean my brushes, etc. It's a paint drop cloth for bin art. So it's not burlap. Right. So it's literally like a painting cloth, like a drop cloth. Cool. Yeah. I never thought about that either. When you're cleaning your brushes out, you could just wipe it on the thing as opposed to,
there's a method.
having paper towel. There is a method to the madness, as they say. Scott here. Scott is back again. These ones are in blue.
Here we go.
Oh.
And Scott, need to chime in here. What's the theory here? Because these guys are based differently. Is this the are these part of the same army, or is this a different army? Are these guys that are these your Marines? They're going to go up the beach. So let us know, or are these in work in progress? Oh, well, these are Sea Guard. Okay, so he's using it as a Sea Guard, and so I think maybe to help sell it, you're by the sea, right? Makes perfect sense to me. That's cool. Super cool.
I love that idea.
All right, here we go. The aforementioned Hellstrikers. Awesome. Josh, you got some pictures of the one by himself, and then now I love the color scheme of these orcs.
Oh yeah,
orcs. The metallic blue, the gold, the green. Oh yeah, chef's kiss. And I'm a big fan of where they painted them to look like lions with wings.
Yeah.
And Scott's confirmed it's a beach theme. Super cool. Super cool. Really great models. Yeah, those are awesome.
Those are turning out nice.
Absolutely. And Scott, I'm all into, if you're going to go in and take the time to paint your models, give it a theme, give it a narrative. Yeah, I'm super excited about that as well. Let's see what else we got. We got another picture here. So he's got the family all together.
Oh, wow. He got them all to fit. That's impressive.
Very impressive. I haven't tried to do that. I mean, I haven't got the riff for a jork yet. Have you done yours yet, Jeremy?
No, I'm using different models for mine. I'm using ball rods.
Your brother has a 3D printer. These are available on the vault.
Yeah.
I think there's a easy peasy way to pivot, right? Have your brother print you some really great looking resin and kill two birds with one stone. You'll be able to an excuse to go visit. Hey, I'm just going to see my brother because I want to pick up these models and to see my brother.
Yep. That's not a bad idea.
Oh, a fourth. Okay. All right. We're getting into Scorchwing territory now. 4th Regiment of Aeronauts.
It's a golf course.
That's amazing. Which is funny because, in Hobbit, from the book The Hobbit, right? They talk about how they invented golf. So it's a funny little nod to that. I wonder though if Matt is still on. Is this because you've been doing mean things to him with your Goblin army? Is the reason why he's bringing 4 aeronauts? I do wonder. I do wonder if this is a response to something that, you know. Oh, here's the golf course without him. That's great. Look at that. That's the kind of stuff that makes you go, yeah, that's cool. You can definitely tell where the rough is and where the tee and then where the greens are. Just so cool.
That's
so neat.
I like that.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Now what you need like some Braves that are carrying like golf clubs. This is their weapon. That would be amazing. All right, so we got another Indiana guy. He's here with his. This is Troy, and he's got his Brock Riders. Super cool looking. Oh man, look at that basing. Got some cork. He built some cork up. He's got rock pieces. He's got some gemstones or some crystals in the back. And I love the minecart. And I wonder, is the minecart terrain crate? He might be. I mean, a minecart, hitching a ride on a minecart, pure scenery, and he's 3D printed. Oh, this guy up here is 3D printed.
And a mining theme. That's
yeah,
cool.
It's super cool. Which, I mean, it's funny because obviously it makes off. Good luck, Donnie. Don't come home if you don't win it. So they're having Lady of the Lake up in Duluth, Minnesota today. This is day 2.
Oh, nice.
And shout out to our buddy Alex. They're running Beyond the Wall. Well, it's too early for me. I haven't had enough coffee yet. But in Canada, they have a great event. King Beyond the Wall, I think is what it's called. And they should be doing day 2 of this one as well. And he's not having to run it. So Alex, again, if you're not winning it, what are you doing? Well, what I like about this theme is though, dwarves, mines go together. But what's interesting, he's kind of turned it on its head because you don't typically, I wouldn't think of Brock Riders being in the mine, right? You think of like heavy beasts of burden or heavily armored guys with pickaxes. But so it's kind of cool to see something different. Like, hey, look, it's a mining theme, but there's these crazy Brock Riders coming out of the mine to I guess to protect. It's almost like a siege. They're there to sally forth out of the mine to protect the mine
when they need to.
Yeah, exactly. Super cool. Billy Capgun, Billy Smith. He's been pumping out ogres like nobody's business. So interesting. He's got the same issue that I had with the. Well, I mean, it's the same chariot kit we've always had, but they've redone it in hard plastic and given us hard plastic maw pups to pull it, but or maw beasts, not maw pups. But what's interesting is he's done it without the scythe wheels.
To get them to fit.
Yeah, and even when you take the scythe wheels off, they're hard to fit. They're really big, beefy looking models. I've actually put scythe wheels on mine, and it is extremely difficult to get them to fit. I have a regiment, and it's just like, oh. But I'm loving his basing. He looks like he's used some kind of paste material, and then he's added 3D bits, 3D plant bits, and then he airbrushed it, which is great. And then he's got working on, and I think we're going to see the finished guy a little farther, but the Berserker Bully, super cool.
Nice.
Rolling here. Nick Brooks, another firefight, dead zone kind of guy. Love it. Super cool model. Matthew Temple back, and I got to play against this army. Did you see this army at Best of the Rest?
I don't remember this.
Jeremy?
Oh, I would have.
Yeah, so he was the Goblin player with all this. He had like it was in a sewer, and he was collecting slaves to kind of do their bidding. And what's interesting is I don't think these are sharpshooters. Sharp stick throwers, which he didn't have in the list. But it's cool because I think these are just WizKid models because they don't. To be fair, the sharp stick thrower that Mantic does make, it's a metal model, and again, it's real finicky,
hard to put together.
And I love the fact he's put little torches on the end of their things, right?
Yeah,
just to help them see where they're shooting. That's really cool. Really great looking models. Can't wait to see how they fare against the Shire Air Force. Again, okay. These are there to pop the balloons with Scott's balloons.
Little anti-aircraft defense.
And then Colin. Back at it. So Colin Zielinski, our favorite undead player, painting wraiths, looks like. The kid's probably already has 1 million wraiths, but can never have enough. And we were talking about how they hold it. Look at that. They've got like a little where you put it on a round base and it pops into a 3D printed handle. That's kind of cool.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, Scott, it's a tough list, man. A lot of shooting and a lot of bodies, a lot of nerve, a lot of, it's a tough list. I was as surprised as anybody that I finally overcame it at Best of the Rest. Colin, a lot of purchases, great. It's good to see some more. Can never have enough zombies. Let's be honest. Can never have enough zombies. Scott's back. Let's see what color we got now. Oh, so these are Palace Guard now. So Palace Guard. So the heavy hitter guys with the two-handed weapons and no shields. Super cool. And he's got a prince here. Possibly probably a prince. But
they look
just
like
a great
they're coming
looking
from the palace.
Yeah, I love them, dude. What's cool about the model range for these guys is they're a little older, but they have like almost like halberds, like double-handed halberds, but like they have like swords on the end. There's some that have axes. And what's cool is he's used all the same weapons options on these, and just to give them a real uniform look. And look at the freehand here. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Good on him. Take time to freehand on the loincloths.
Yeah. Well, Palace.
I often wonder that myself, Brian, because like I said, he's working on multiple armies at the same time. Here I am. In 6 weeks, I've got one model done. It's like, oh, okay. Crazy. We got some more of these favorite strikers here from our favorite painter. Maybe one of the most prolific painters in the community. I think he posts every single day something he's finished. And again, I love his color scheme with the blue and the red. Really jump out pretty awesome. You got any comments on this one? I mean, I know you're an RFO Rift Forge Orc aficionado, Max, but you got any comments?
The colors are very nice. They pop out a lot. Yeah, they're just really amazing. Oh no.
I like the slate.
Yes. Yeah. And I wonder if he even has to paint it or if he just busts the slate up and just glues it down and calls it a day.
Ooh.
That would be amazing too. Well, we'll keep this train rolling. Are you guys getting tired yet? Like this is like a Herculean effort to get I mean, you guys, the community really comes out for this thing.
Yeah.
So again, I think this is
another.
So I thought at first it was going to be the same unit, but no. Scott doesn't post the same pictures twice. This is the second regiment of Sea Guard.
Yeah.
And then another striker done. Oh, look at this. This one really is fantastic.
Wow.
Really nice. I love the metal work. I love the
20 out of 10.
He's got some more pictures of it too.
Yeah,
really great job. Really great job on that. Let's see. Wow. I love the fact this thing's got a scorpion tail. I guess all man. I think most Manticores do, but it's just cool. Just super cool. Great job. I mean, this is just and look at that. Look at that eye. The attention to detail there. He went in there and he put the pupil in. Like, okay, you're hardcore.
That turned out great.
Yeah, really great job with John Paul. Did a great job there. Let's see. All right, Scott.
Well,
so this is his what I painted through whenever he posted on July 25th, or since last May.
Holy
crazy! Look at all that. Look at that. He's got a dragon. I mean, just all this great stuff. Dracon Lord. And I like the fact that, like I said, he's got a theme here. Like this is the bulk of his army with the green shields, right? But you've got
look how the Palace Guard really pop out with detail over there.
Well, they got different. They have contrasting color armor, right? They got the silver versus the gold, and then the Sea Guard are a darker color, but on a beachfront.
Yep.
It's super neat. Really, really great stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to see this thing keep going.
Mm-hmm. I really want to create a display board of it.
You're reading my mind. And Scott, and then because he didn't have enough already, got some boomers on the go. Love it. Got some boomers. And then what are we at here? We're at Patrick Nyberg. All right, so little more halfling. Now I love this. He gave him Roman shields. Isn't that cool?
I love that idea.
Yeah, I want to go in there too. Are these all the standard heads, or is that a Roman halfling head? I can't really tell. So hopefully we'll get in there in a little bit. But what the heck is this guy in the back? Oh, he's got some more pictures over here. Let's see what he's got. So super cool. I mean, probably some Braves. Close that out. He's got some Edge Grenadiers. Got some great edge grenadiers there. It takes a little bit for my.
Well, those are turning out nice.
Yeah, those are great. I love the yellow and the green. Those are the real models.
The smoke, is that part of the model, or is that something that he did?
Oh no, that's a good question. No, I think. All right, you guys in the chat, you'll have to. All right, so Scott's telling us why he has so much time. He's retired, so that's man. Someday I hope I get there. And then Steve's mentioning to us that hey, he's got a whole garden full of slate, so it's easy just to paint.
Oh, perfect.
And so yes, these are the models, and yeah, those are great. He did a great job on the thrust effect. You know, the exhaust coming out of the back, really great, really great. Let's see what else.
And they kind of burn the ground a little bit.
Not an Iron Beast. What's this thing called?
Isn't it?
What is this? I always get this and the Steel Behemoth. You're right. It is the Iron Beast. It is the Iron Beast. But look at this, how great this paint job is. I mean, just fantastic looking, non-metal metallic. I mean, just really great stuff, man. Really great paint job. Awesome job.
I like the red eyes.
Yeah. And then he's got some characters here. Taking a minute to load, but yeah. Really cool. Let's see. We got some more. He does. Oh, and then this is the guy I'm dying to know. What is this? I mean, he's obviously a guy on a winged Aerolez, but like, is that like a cockatrice model? Maybe. It's crazy looking, but it fits. It fits with the halflings, right?
Yeah.
You would think of like a giant mutated farm animal.
Yeah.
That's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Can't wait to see more of these. Right. So now we're down to Kyle. Let's make sure I didn't miss any. I think we got all those. We did. So Kyle Ritchie is starting out on Northern Alliance, trying to get his boats done. So yeah, these are the Northern Alliance.
Oh, okay.
They have the more wooden Valhalla style, and it's got the rib cage, which I love.
Well, the rib, that's nice.
Yeah, super cool. But hopefully you play better at Armada than you do at King's of War. That's all I got to say about that. And then, all right. So Troy says he's got a secret project. So this ought to be interesting to see.
Oh.
If you guys haven't seen it, maybe we'll have to have Billy post it. He's got a Christmas themed, winter themed goblin army where he's got like goblins that carry presents and stuff. It's so Billy, if you do hear this, oh, here we go. I love that model back here. He's calling it the pig deal. That's
the pig deal.
That's a great name. And then he said right here, this other model is the TT Combat Cockatrice.
Okay.
So TT Combat's a company out of the UK that makes resin and I guess 3D printed models now, but super cool. Really cool. Love it.
With the color scheme, it fits with the rest of the army. I think
absolutely. So yeah, we're excited to see what Troy does with these candy canes, and then Scott's back at it again. More Braves.
It looks like
you never have enough. And full model count for the win, huh? I mean, if you're gonna go big, go all the way, right? Yeah. And then 2 warrior regiments.
Oh, those just
nice. Look at all the ones in the back. I mean, these are trolls back here, but super cool. Now, Scott, are you using the trolls as ogres, or are you using the trolls as trolls in a future goblin army? Be curious to hear what you're doing with those. That's cool. And then we've got Adrian. Back to Adrian again in his dwarves. So we got a little spear levy. So he's building up wow, that's a crazy look. Is that terrain? Yeah, first part of a castle wall has been in the build. So that's really cool. Oh, gotcha, and then I love the fact that this is his Iron Belcher cannon, right? So he's used some firefight models, right? And just paint them up. That's cool. Okay. Super cool. Scott, so this is his ogre army now. So got a giant. Okay, so trolls as allies from the Gobber army. Okay, so that's cool. Running them as goblins. But the nice thing about running them as trolls, what's interesting, though, about allies is that you paint them up in this army, use them as allies, but then at some point, you could just, between the trolls and the goblins, you already have sort of a goblin army. Yeah. But yeah, some boomers, some warriors, some trolls, a couple mammoths. a couple croc dog wranglers, probably either Grakamak or just like a sergeant, a flag guy, a couple warlocks, Kuzlo and Medfall, and a couple. Yeah, this is just a great looking army. I wonder,
Great
Scott,
seeing the whole army together.
How many points is this? And how did your wife let you? How did you get your wife to let you just do this in the kitchen? Because I'm not allowed to do that in the kitchen. She doesn't want me to invade, the common area, if you will.
No ogres on the granite. That's a standing rule.
No, exactly right. Robert Lee, our buddy from Florida. So he's working on a Sylvan Greater Air Elemental. So this is I think this is a Reaper model. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's a Reaper model. Great paint job, though. I love, again, nice. The orange and the blue really pop. And then our buddy Daniel, now he corrected me. He is a slow painter, but I think what he's saying is he paints all the time. So even though he's slow, he looks prolific. But he says it takes him a long time to paint this stuff. And Scott's just chimed in. He's got 3,400 points of ogres and elves. That's great. Wow. Super cool. Yeah, awesome. Love to see those big men. I mean, that's the reason why I play Kings of War, is those big, giant, massive armies.
Yeah, me too.
And then some more Hellstrikers here. Daniel, what's interesting is correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, you're in the chat. Are these both a mix of the resin and the 3D print, or are they all the 3D print? Oh, well, okay. Well, there you go, Scott. You're living the dream. You're retired, and you have a wife that's into hobbying. Okay, well, you win. You win the day. So yeah, these are fantastic looking models. And so this is the gentleman that lives across the street from my mom. So yeah, Daniel, so it's a 50-50 mix of 3D print and resin.
Okay. You can get them to fit.
Yeah, but when my wife is grinning, she's usually laughing at me. Like, she's 50 years old. You haven't grown up yet. But that's fun. Great job, Daniel. Daniel, have you decided? Are you going to join us at Michigan GT? What's the latest and greatest information from the bunker? What great! Again, this is something that's just out. I've just noticed there's a lot of people going with the lion color scheme, the browns and the yellows. Yeah. I think it just looks great. I think it looks really great. Oh man, Rift Forger. That guy is nasty. He's just so nasty. And then he does a great job.
We're going to see a lot of Rift Orcs armies, it looks like.
Well, Adrian, it's funny. Every time we do these, we always say, oh, it's going to take an hour. And then there's 129 comments later. You're like, yeah, it's going to take more than an hour, right? It's unfortunate that, but we, we're just, also one thing, this is the second time we've done it early in the morning here in the United States. We were hoping that allowed maybe some of the Australians and the UK folks that wanted to do this with us live. Let us know in the chat or on Facebook on the Countercharge Facebook group if this is a good time for you guys, because I mean it's a little inconvenient. Obviously, we made Max roll out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, but he's with us. He's had enough caffeine in his system that he's raring and ready to go. But again, Adrian, we're glad that you're here with us. Oh, Daniel, you've broken my heart. Not gonna play. Man, broken my heart. But I like observing your fantastic looking army. All right, let's keep rolling. Surely we got to be getting to the end of this, Jeremy, right?
Well, just looking at the bar, looks like we're getting close.
Okay, yeah, about maybe a sixth of the way left to go. I'm sure the Raging Cajun's already left because he's too cool to be hanging out with us this long. But Brian, since he's not here, I'm going to go ahead and compliment him. The kid can paint a little bit, right? And I appreciate it. I really like his basing. It's a very effective ice over water technique.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that on his Varinger that he brought to Best of the Rest. Had like scratches on.
How bad did you beat him, by the way? Did you beat him pretty bad?
No. He beat me by one. It was really close.
Oh, good. I mean, I'm glad. It would have been better if you could have crushed him. That's my, my.
I mean, that was nice
to see people.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really great, though. And with the new and improved ice elementals, I think they'll start to see some play on the table.
Those look really good.
And then as foreshadowed earlier, it's coming in slowly, but the finished Berserker Bully from Mr. Billy Smith. Fantastic looking model. It's a super, we were talking about before, like those luggets that are very dynamic, that they have a lot of built-in movement to the actual sculpt. This guy just one-ups it. I mean, it's my favorite model in the ogre range. It's just so cool.
It looks like a blobfish. Oh no, the face.
It's amazing.
Oh, the face. Yeah.
And he's just looking like he's just coming to. You see this guy running at you, you're probably going to run the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Paige Neo's back with some goblin goodness. Got a goblin whiz. Fantastic. He's the guy that had the pink and white Basilean fleet earlier.
Yeah.
He's also the one that's got a horde army where he's mixed in goblins and Rakin to good effect in the army.
Is that a shard of crystal or something coming out of the base?
I believe it is. I think you can buy those pre-colored, different colors and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool though. Yeah.
Nice.
Here we go, Max. You ready? Got your game hat on? We're back. We're back.
Oh yeah.
There's his Gekatoa on the right.
I see it.
Not painted. But,
so you're using the Mantic bases upside down, right, Jeremy?
Yeah. Yep.
And what's the thought process here? Are you, for some reason, are you just using these to paint them, or are you going to use them? Is that the permanent thing? You're going to give them like that flagstone look and glue them down?
Yeah, they'll get based and they're magnetized, and they'll remain like individually.
Is your whole army like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
They're all either magnetized for metal bases, or there's a magnetic sheet, and so you can swap them out, make different units. But
yeah, these guys
I haven't gotten on the multi-basing wagon yet.
You got to, man. It's the future. It's the future. Back in the day, we would have these units made up of a bunch of individuals, and you'd pick up the unit, or it'd be on a hill and it would slide down, and your whole army would come out, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Those days are over. Beautiful. Do you have any comments for your dad, Max?
I think he should add more I don't know, detail.
More detail.
I like right out of the gate. He's always got a critique. I like that. He's
yeah.
But it's done with love. It's done with love.
Yeah.
Robert says, "Go ahead, lay into him, Max. Here's your chance."
Thanks,
for
Robert.
like what's it called? Your bases. You don't really put much effort into them.
That's a work in progress, dude.
I feel like you should put in more effort to take it to the next level.
Dude, they're complete over there. This is just from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but still, like, even they're completed. I feel like you should just add a little bit more. Or not
That's
a little
fantastic.
bit, but a lot more.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it'll be
You're right.
8 out of 10.
I'll do better.
As of now.
He's doing it with love, Jeremy. He's doing it with love. Yeah, agreed, Scott. We looked at Jeremy's paint station, and it was like, wow, this guy. The opposite end of a serial killer, right? Like there's two kinds of serial killers. There's the one kind that like they like a disheveled, like messy, their head's a mess, so that their space is a mess. But then there's the Dexter type. If you get the reference from the TV show Dexter, but like super clean to the point where it's like, oh, this is something off about it. And you can even see in the background, you got these great little spice rack stands, I think, that you said before.
Yep.
Just super, super clean. Yeah. But for me, that's the mode that I have to work in. If it's too messy, it pulls me out of my creative flow.
Yeah. I don't want to spend time looking for anything. I want to know where it's
I get it.
His brother.
Yeah, the worst is when you're like, I need this color, and you don't know where it is. That's the worst. Yeah. And you're like, all right, let's keep rolling here. We're getting Ryan Smith. So Ryan Smith, the progenitor of the Zelda army. This is his Riftforged Orcs army.
Nice.
And Riftforged Orcs done in non-metallic metal. Super, super, super great.
paint's
popping off
insane.
those bases. It's super great. I love it. What's weird is it's something that I always admire, but it's something I've never actually tried. That like very, very stark, like less blended and more just get it on there. Just almost like impressionist paint job, where you're just getting the colors in the right spot and you're not harsh, stark transitions. I think it's really cool. Yeah, Steve, we looked at yours too, and certainly was not that clean. Yeah. I think you were the guy that were using a wet palette, but not as a wet palette, I believe. Yeah,
His
really,
brother
really crazy stuff.
supposed to go to the
Best of the rest.
best of the rest.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Adrian. That gold is
What are you
chef's
trying to
kiss,
say?
man. It's money. But to be fair, everything that Ryan puts his mind to has been amazing. And then we've got now. I don't think this is the picture. It might be one coming up, but yeah, these are great looking models. So these are the old orcs, and he's using them as Morax, which is great, right?
Yeah.
So he's mixing in some of the orcs and some of the Riftforged to give them a little bit of a different look.
Yeah, nice.
Really great. Let's see. I think I got all those. Go to the next year.
Well, that non-metallic metal is really.
And then it looks fantastic. All right. So then we got Justin again. So this looks like he's blue tacked on maybe, or hot glued on some basing to like wooden dowels or squares, which make it pretty easy to paint and to prime. Yeah, your hobby space is notorious at this point. I think maybe only Danny Graves has the one that makes me the queasier, but you're right up there. You're right up there. So he's got some of the sci-fi stuff, which is great. It's great to see more people getting firefights at the table. Richard, Thunderwolves, and now the Thunderwolves have gotten a little upgrade. Looking great. Oh wow, this basing is really cool. You can really get the sense of like it's a snowdrift.
Yeah, so that looks like real snow.
Yeah, and Richard's the one that had the really cool luggets before.
Okay.
But actually, maybe I'm mixing that up. Maybe I'm, like I said, I identify you guys by the armies that you paint. So I'm probably mixing that up. But if Richard, if you're out there, let us know what you use for the basing because it's really cool. It almost looks like maybe a modeling paste. I'm not sure, but it definitely it definitely emotes to me that this is a deep snowdrift in some way up north. So that's
wind-driven
really
snow.
Yeah. Max, you got any critiques for Richard here? The only one I would say is maybe give the nose a color, like a little gray, something. Make it stand out a little bit. What do you got for him?
They look amazing. Like the bases too. I don't know, something that my dad should aspire to.
He must not get a lot of opportunities to give you factual critique on a regular basis. So he's making best of the platform he's provided.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we'll keep rolling along. We're getting really close to the end. We got a Cavern Dweller, awesome looking model, and this is the base it actually comes with. So super great looking model.
Nice.
Let's see what we got. Yeah, and then we've got some. Oh, you were talking about Frost Claws. So Frost Claws, Travis Tim, and then he plays everything. So he's got some vermin, I guess, working on some vermin, and then he's got a Marauder. Is this the new? This is only a couple weeks ago, so I'm wondering if this is the new 3D printed bits that they've got to add to this. I'm not as familiar, but I know that they're coming out with some 3D printed bits that you can change the guns on top of the mules.
Okay,
super cool. And then he's got some Ambrox, which are great looking models, really great looking models. Let's see.
Sorry, he's already got the dwarf ravens put together.
Yeah, they're great looking. And then we've got Chase, our buddy down in southern Mississippi, still working on the Ratkin. And I'm loving these guys. And I love the fact that they're like staged up on crates and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Looks really, really, really cool. 100%. Now, what's the weather like in Rapid City right now? In South Dakota?
Not too bad.
It's been very rainy.
It was rainy yesterday, but it's going to be in the 80s.
The weather here is kind of like either very rainy or very hot.
I think they're talking about your criticisms are cold.
Yeah. They're saying you're being mean to your dad. But you know what? Not mean, you're fair, right? Let's be honest. You're being fair.
Harsh but fair. Harsh but fair.
The truth.
It's all done with love. Yeah, I love the fact that Chase has taken the models and actually built like a they're kind of coming over like a what could be like a ramshackled object, like a wall or a defensive position, and they've overrun it. And they're kind of coming over the walls, right? And you can kind of like, this is what the Kingdoms of Men are seeing as these guys are coming over at them, and probably making them pretty nervous.
Yeah, I like the height variation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I love the fact that he's got the plague pot in the back here. I wonder, Chase, if you see this later, if this is removable, because that would be super cool. If this was magnetized and you could pull it off to show that it's been used. Oh, that'd be great. If you popped it. This is great stuff. And I don't know. I don't think this is terrain crate. Maybe some of it is, but Chase, tell us where all the bits came from for this, because some of these look like terrain crate, but I don't remember the chest of drawers where they actually come out. Maybe I just don't have that one. Chase the Pretty Painter. He's the one that won
those
Best Bard at Kings of Memphis this year. Really great looking model. And then we get back to Randy Davis, more of his Marauders. Ooh. And these are the stunt. I think these are called stunt bots, where they're goblins in giant mech suits. Super cool. Look awesome. They're really, really cool. Oh, grunt bots. Sorry, not stunt bots. The bigger one.
Okay.
And he's been experimenting with some snow. Well, if you're experimenting with snow, you need to go look and see what our buddy Richard just did, because that was some perfect snow basing. And then he's got some more, another lead belcher here.
Oh, those are nice.
Or iron. Oh, this is iron belcher cannon. Now, curious, how do you Adrian, you're in the chat. Like, if you wanted to use the same, like use this as either one, how would you differentiate them? I mean, I guess that's kind of cool in a way. Oh, here we go. Magnetized, and you can turn it around to show it's been used, and then remove it when it's gone. Oh, that's
smart.
Next level, Chase. Next level, Chase. Appreciate it. And I appreciate Chase, because I know you're probably already up working this early in the morning, right? Hitting the fields and all that, man. So I appreciate you joining us. But I really like when you could take a model like this, or models like this, and you can make something that's gives you some flexibility in the army. Like today, it could be a lead belcher, like a lead belcher cannon, or iron belcher cannon, excuse me, or a flame belcher. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a way to like make sure that the opponent knows which one it is, that's cool. That you've got something that's flexible enough to accommodate different unit types. It's cool. Let's see here. And then Nicholas Mack. So more ensnarers and other. Oh, he's getting the gigas going, and more leapers going. And Thule. Gotta have Thule. They're so good.
Oh, they look so good.
I can't wait to see what he does. And then, let's see here. Oh, we are on the last picture. Oh. And this is just Andy Patton's Soul Snare. So it's a 3D printer. They don't make one, so it's a 3D printed model. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, they don't make one, huh? So
they don't make one yet. I've seen them, people that use the model that's from the Undead Army. What the heck's it called? It's too early in the morning, but they have some other models. The Well of Souls, thank you, that you could use as the Soul Snare. Yeah, so it's really, really great.
Well, with the obelisks, this has a nice EOD
super cool
to it.
Super cool. Adrian, pretty army. Man, what a month, huh? What a month, guys. I don't even know how to. I'm just like, wow. I'm swimming. There's so much stuff.
People are cranking out the models, man.
I can't even wait to see. And Max, we're gonna have to get you back on for August, because you're a fan favorite. I mean, people enjoy your harsh but fair critique. Yeah. Well, what's next for you guys? How's the when's the RFO going to be done, Jeremy? And what's the next project after RFO?
I kind of like the Northern Alliance models that are coming out, so I might look at those. But Halfling Army looks nice too. I don't know. We'll see. More elves.
Too many good models. Too many great models. Not enough time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Armada. Those look fun too. Jeez, I don't know.
Those
I don't know.
ships look cool.
Exactly. Well, guys, you're probably thinking, when are we going to do the drawing? Well, we have to wait a little bit because Trent's not here with all the data. So I promise we'll do another live stream very quickly, probably within the next week, and we'll get Trent on, and we'll probably just come in just enough time to do the July Hobby Challenge drawing. So that's coming. Yeah, Adrian, well said. Loads of great, cool stuff. It's fantastic. So these kind of things always inspire me. I'm like, oh man, it's so cool. What can I do now? Right. So, well, guys, thanks for coming on, chatting with us. I know it was a herky. Max didn't know he was signing up for 2 hours. You can tell he's got video games to play, I'm sure, and homework to do.
Oh no.
Homework. I wish.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for coming. Final thoughts, Jeremy. You want to wrap us up?
I was, really inspired, like you said, seeing everyone's armies and seeing the progress, and having this has been a really good way to keep me motivated and to keep pushing out more fine models and get another army done. I'm glad you guys came up with this idea. It's been working for me, and thanks for inviting us to come on and look at everyone's progress. It's really fun.
And we appreciate Max's opinions. They're great. We love it. We'll have to get you back on, Max. All right. Well, that's going to do us tonight. And tonight, this morning, or wherever you may be, it's going to do us for today, tomorrow, because the Australians, I think, are living in the future. So, but thanks for joining us. And again, let us know if this time works for you guys. If it doesn't, let us know. We're always trying to find a better spot on the time, a better time and a better spot on the calendar during the week that more people can participate. Because I think it's fun when we have a few people here and we're able to engage and have, as we're talking about people's armies, when they can kind of chime in and answer some of the questions that we have. So with that, I think we'll close it here. So until next time, keep counting.